Yeah, that's fine. Hey, everybody. So actually, let me make sure this isn't going to start randomly on my YouTube page as soon as it starts loading. Um, all right. Okay. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the Bitching Dead. We are your hosts, Tara and Fareed. Unfortunately, Becca could not make it tonight, but we hope to have her back soon. We'll probably be doing an episode or so during the hiatus. So she will be back very soon for that. We are a new webcaster on the minds at the Geeky Area, and we're here to bitch about stuff and things because somebody has to do it. If you haven't seen the most recent episode of The Walking Dead, that means last night's mid-season finale. Please turn back now. We are not responsible for any spoilers you hear. We did warn you.
If you're listening to this podcast, please remember that this is recorded live, so we aren't exactly sure what's going to happen. Please forgive us for any technical difficulties or accidental or intentional swears. You can join the conversation with the hashtag #TheBitchingDead.
Yeah. All right. We'd like to remind you that the views expressed on this webcast are those of the hosts as individuals and do not necessarily represent the Geeky Area or the webcast itself as a whole. And also, just in case you don't know, the Geeky Area does have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/the Geeky Area, where you can sign up to support the website and get some perks in return. And then we also have a Redbubble shop. I'm terrible at finding shops on Redbubble, so I'm not sure what the link exactly is, but I'm sure if you search for Redbubble, the Geeky Area, or I'm sure there's also a link on thegeekyeria.com to the Redbubble store. So we've got some fun stuff available there. I know, Fareed, you do a lot of the art and stuff for the Redbubble thing.
I have a lot of fan art up on Redbubble. We are making some sales, but we can still, use your guys' support. So I'll make sure to add a link to that in the description for this video on YouTube or perhaps in the comment section.
Yeah, I will say that Redbubble is we have a Redbubble storefront for Ice and Fire Con too, and we've got some really great things that they're not just convention stuff, but general like Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones themed stuff that was designed for us by one of our past volunteers, and it's like you don't make very much money when you sell stuff on Redbubble. And I know also their stuff is kind of expensive, like especially shirts, not stickers and whatnot, but shirts and stuff for sure. But they're doing a lot of sales right now because of Christmas. Like today, granted it's already 8:00, but so you only got a few more hours left. But if you use the code, I think it's day 12, and it's day and then 12 is spelled out. It's the word, not the number. You can get 25% off like anything on Redbubble. So yeah, and if you sign up for their emails, they pretty much always have some sort of deal going. Like the other day, it was 25% off hoodies. Like a week ago, 20% off iPhone cases. So yeah. Other than that, enough about Redbubble. So it's been 2 weeks since we had an episode of this webcast, and so we have 2 episodes to talk about, and the episode 7, obviously everybody wants to hear our views on the mid-season finale, I'm sure, but first, episode 7, a time for After, which is such a Garbage Pail Kids title for an episode. What did you think about that one, Fareed?
I was binge watching the rest of the episodes with my mom, so when we reached this episode, I did not like it. I didn't enjoy it because I hate Eugene. I can't kind of tolerate comic book Eugene.
Yeah.
I tolerate him, but TV show Eugene, I want him to die a painful and slow death. And I want the camera to zoom in on him when that's happening because I just can't. And it really didn't help that episode time after or whatever that was very focused on Eugene. And I'm not a fan of this character. For me to feel invested in him, like nothing he did was surprising. There was one scene where he was talking to Gabriel, and I thought maybe Eugene will do the right thing then. And if he had sided with Gabriel, and that would have been cool, like seeing him and Gabriel and a doctor trying to escape, only the three of them
Hmm.
from the sanctuary, that would have been interesting. But the show didn't do that. And it was a very boring episode for me.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of been this season's shtick is boring episodes because most of them have been. But yeah, no, I'm totally with you on Eugene. I actually think I tweeted about it like that night when the episode was airing, and it didn't help that I'd had some drinks before that episode, which I haven't been drinking before the Walking Dead episodes this season. It used to be a thing for me. Like I would drink and then watch it and then drunk write my Walking Dead episode reviews, but I'm not
Yes.
reviewing it anymore. So now I'm drinking during the webcast instead. But yeah, no, Eugene, like comic Eugene, like he was really frustrating in the beginning, but he really grew on me over time. Recently there's some the comic book stuff that happened with him that I'm frustrated about, but in general he is not this just completely despicable character in the comics. And the way he is in the show, it's like some it's like J.K. Rowling is writing Eugene, and like she decided he is a Slytherin, even though like really he should be Ravenclaw. But she put him in Slytherin, and she's going to like just eke out every bad Slytherin quality that exists is Eugene right now. I feel like I know that that probably sounds like I'm really like mashing on Slytherins, but I mean he really is like every worst quality of a Slytherin, and he's supposed to be a Ravenclaw, man. Like kind of an asshole, but also like lovable in his own way and super, super smart and loves learning things. And in this show, there's none of that. It's like, okay, he already knows everything. So now we're just gonna like make him, the only thing he has to do is survive. I'm pretty sure in the comics he taught himself how to make bullets and like that was a whole process. It didn't
Yeah,
just
he
like
likes to learn. In the comic books, he likes to learn. And even in the TV show, we saw him reading some books while he was at the sanctuary.
yes.
In the previous season, he was reading some books. But what happened to that Eugene? I really thought that Eugene was siding with Negan because he was like playing a game or a strategy. He had a strategy to take down Negan,
Yeah.
and I kept giving Eugene chance after chance. But now I just want him to die. Even after the mid-season finale, I want him to die.
Yeah, I don't. I guess I keep thinking like maybe he will, like something will happen, and I'm not saying it would make everything that he's done better, but like something would happen to kind of start redeeming him or whatever. And no, it just keeps getting worse and worse. And yeah, I don't know, man. This show keeps all these characters around that I just want to go away. And then they get rid of characters who either I like or who I just don't mind, which is so frustrating. Like, if it's gotten to the point where there are so few characters that I still enjoy on this show,
Mhm.
either because they're dead or they've changed into something I can't stand, that I don't like. I watch it ironically, and soon enough, I'm not even going to be able to do that.
You and the rest of the million people who have stopped watching because the ratings are falling.
I know we talked about that last time too, and they're still
Rate-
bad.
yeah.
Uh, I mean, have you read like I haven't read any articles on it. Are people talking about it?
They are talking about it, but then again, the conclusion of every article is that even though the ratings have fallen, it's still the most watched show on television.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, it's the most watched show on cable television.
Yeah. Yeah. That.
So, so there's that. We were talking about that last night. Like Game of Thrones, like I don't even love Game of Thrones, but more people watch Game of Thrones than Walking Dead. And I'm sure there's probably some like network shows that are watched nearly as much, if not more. or that are getting, especially currently, getting better ratings, but because they narrow it down to like, oh, it's cable. So it's basically like anything that's not a major network or a paid for subscription like HBO or Stars or Showtime.
Yeah.
So it narrows the playing field a lot. Anyway, so yeah, I guess we're already talking about least favorite moments. So might as well just get the rest of these out of the way, and then we can do like things that we liked about the episode. So other than Eugene, what were your least favorite moments of time for after?
Jadis's obsession with Rick.
God damn it.
First of all, I want to know who put Rick in boxers, because in the previous episode we saw that he was naked in the container. They like really focused on that scene when the camera was like panning out during the end, that Rick was naked in the container. But
Yeah.
when Jadis like called him out of the container, he was wearing boxers. Who was the person who went there and made Rick wear boxers?
I mean,
Was it Jadis?
they don't really care about like continuity in this show, as last night's episode like so clearly showed us. She'll get into later, but like, yeah, they don't really care about continuity. So like, I guess like we're just supposed to assume that someone went in and gave him boxers so that he wouldn't have to come out naked. I mean,
Why? I mean, the garbage pail kids were naked. Jadis was only wearing an apron when she was like sculpting something in
yeah.
one of the scenes. So
I,
why? Yeah, it made no sense. Like
I
these people
mean,
were roaming around naked.
I guess like the real reason is probably it's Andrew Lincoln, and he is the star of the show, and he doesn't want to walk around even like pseudo naked or be portrayed as being naked on television. Like I'm not saying that's the case. Like I really don't know Andrew Lincoln as a person. I met him once. I interviewed him at a convention. He was very, very nice, but like he is also a family man, so I can imagine him having kind of feelings about being like quote unquote naked. But yeah, where he got those boxers, like I I I don't know.
I mean, him taking down the walker naked would have been very like Beowulfy. You know that movie Beowulf?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah,
a epic story
yeah.
poem.
They made a CGI movie with it about it with Angelina Jolie in it, and
Yeah, yeah.
Beowulf like fought a demon naked. Like they could have gone that route, but yeah, probably who knows? Maybe it wasn't in Andrew's contract.
Maybe I mean I guess they just they didn't feel the need to show us who put him in boxers, so we're just
But Jadis was thirsty, and I was like, Jadis, you need to chill.
yeah, seriously, what is her
It made no
like?
sense. Like, why?
Why is she
Why?
so into Rick? Like, I mean, listen, Andrew Lincoln, there was definitely a period around like season 3. Yeah, season 3, late season 2 maybe, but definitely season 3 and season 4 of Walking Dead. There's definitely a period where I was like, yeah, I like Rick. I liked his grunginess and his like beard that was not like the big nonsense beard that he's had more recently. Like, uh, sorry, my cat is walking away now. So I get the thirsty for Rick thing like seasons ago, but not right now. So but yeah, her weird obsession, like I don't know if it's just because she respects him or if she really is just like if she likes him and thinks he's attractive, like I don't
I mean,
know.
Jadis lives in a dump, so if she thinks that you're attractive, it's probably not a compliment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean I really guess it could be that she is, you know, I hate the garbage pail kids, but like she is like seriously, that was gonna be my least favorite thing, was like literally everything about the garbage pail kids in this episode and every episode they're in, because they are whoever thought they were a good idea, that the garbage pail kids as a whole but most especially their abridged form of speech. Whoever thought that was a good idea should never write for television again.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Their whole speech doesn't like.
It's
Why is that even a thing?
I think I read an excuse somewhere where someone was like, uh, it was I don't know if it was even somebody who worked on the show or if it was just an article making excuses for them, but they were saying like, oh well, maybe they speak that way because it takes up less time and like less energy or whatever. And it's like, dude, like,
These people have time to make little weird wire cat sculptures. These people have
mhm.
time to speak properly.
Yeah, seriously. If you're there, if you have time and if you have the safety net around you to be sitting there naked, making like sculptures, then you can talk in full sentences. I just right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that if art like if some like if there was like a sect of sculpture artists who talked like that today, oh god, you know what the worst part is? I'm not even sure that like, they would probably be worshipped. Like I don't know enough about the world of art, I guess. Anyway, but yeah, that whole like whoever thought the garbage pail people and their speaking style was a good idea is just the worst. And but I do think that Jadis she is a leader, and I guess she is in her own way like a strong character. She's creepy, but she's strong, sure. So I'm guessing maybe that's her attraction to Rick, that she sees another strong leader. But I mean, we don't see her treating Negan that way, and he'd probably be like, "Yeah, all right, yeah, you can sculpt me naked." Like,
With Lucille. With Lucille.
oh my god, like seriously, I bet Negan would totally love for her to do that.
Maybe she already has. We don't know.
True.
Maybe she already has.
Yeah. I'm waiting now.
That would,
Now I want to see
yeah,
that art.
yeah, same. They need to do that. They need
Oh
to
my
show us.
god. Like like things I really don't want to see, but yeah.
It'll be fun. I mean, they're already doing a lot of flashbacks and stuff. So
Mm.
why not give a flashback when Jadis sculpts Negan while he's holding
Yeah.
Lucille?
Yeah, I'll get into the flashback nonsense when we talk about the mid-season finale. But so favorite moments from time for after. Um I I mean my thought was like at least I was laughing a lot. Literally everything Rick did in that episode, including him fighting the zombie in the garbage pail people house, made me laugh. It made me giggle. That's not good for the show. That does not mean good things. Like, it's not good when I am giggling at literally everything your main character says and does when it's a serious show like this. But sure, for me, it's good. So there's that.
But yeah, there was nothing in this episode that like I I could have like maybe if I binge watched this season again, I'll probably like skip this episodes and a few more.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably skip about half.
Yeah.
Like you could watch like episode one and then maybe one of the middle episodes, like three, four, or five. I can't remember which one because they all blend together in a like just massive nonsense. And then like the mid-season finale, I guess you kind of have to watch, and it would probably make about as much sense as it does watching all eight of them. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I feel about that. Um, did you have any other like, I don't know, say or gripes, or I already talked about mine, which was the Eugene thing. Like, let's give a
Yeah,
big
same. I can't handle Eugene.
yeah. Like what I said was I would like all Walking Dead comic book fans to gather together and give like a big fuck you to show Eugene. Like, because he's not amazing in the comics. He's not some like perfect character, but like he's better than he is in the show. He's just so, and the worst part is that the actor, Josh, right? Josh something. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Josh something is the actor's name. Like he is a super nice person and he does a great job with what he's given and he's just given such shit and I feel bad for him. I feel like he could do better. Like even like he does good with what he's given, which is awful, but he could do better than that. You know?
Yeah, but the writers don't care.
Oh God, no. Literally.
Really
and honestly, that leads us perfectly into talking about the mid-season finale because the mid-season finale was an hour and a half of like, and I know that's not the exact runtime, that's how long it was on TV with commercials, but like it was an hour and a half of proof that the writers of this show do not give a shit about the people that watch it and how they feel. And I'm not talking about the deaths or whatever. I'm talking about just everything, like everything about the episode. Like, did you like things in last night's episode? Oh no, did I lose Freed? Oh no, Freed, you're frozen. Freed is frozen, so I guess it's just me talking to myself now. But he'll be back soon. So I have no idea what to say without somebody else to like bounce ideas off of. So anyway, last night was the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead season 8. Unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, Becca could not make it tonight. She had a bit of an emergency, but we do have some of her thoughts. I know that I think it was actually on the last episode of The Bitching Dead that Becca said that she believed that Siddiq was going to get Carl killed. So funny enough, her favorite moment was the fact that she was right about Siddiq getting Carl killed. So that was kind of funny, and I wish she was here to talk about that because I know that she was pretty excited last night. As much as you can be excited about the death of a character, I guess it depends on how much you like Carl, which apparently a lot of people don't. And I'm trying to go through like what else Becca said. Oh, one other thing she mentioned, and oh, are you back?
I'm back. It's
Yay!
raining here, so yeah, that probably messed up with
Oh, it's
the
okay. It was you were gone for like a minute.
The writers found out we're doing this webcast.
Yeah, seriously, AMC is like, cut him off. That's okay. I literally I was talking about, since Becca's not here, I just was talking about how on the last episode of this webcast, she was like, yeah, Siddiq's gonna get Carl killed. And I love that her notes on like what her favorite moment was from last night's episode was the fact that she was right about Siddiq getting Carl killed.
Yeah, I read it.
I
mean,
go
she
ahead.
has been talking about this from the very first episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's been like, Carl is going to die, and we kind of thought that he was going to die too.
Yeah,
but I wasn't sure that the showrunners would be brave enough to do it.
Yeah, there were some spoilery articles out that made it pretty there was one that I know both her and I read that it's like, this doesn't prove anything, but like, look, it probably means Carl's gonna die. And then recently he also put up like pictures of himself with his hair cut really short, and of course that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but like I just really don't see like show Carl cutting his hair in the middle of the war.
I mean, if he was a female character, he would have.
Yeah, I mean, that, to be fair, Carol is like one of the only smart women in this show because like she's kept her hair. Granted, she had it short in the beginning, but she's kept it short. Like that's the first thing I would do in a zombie apocalypse is lop off all my hair.
Yeah, even Jesus's hair is like annoying me right now. He doesn't even tie it up. He just lets it fall around his face even while he's fighting, and I'm like, Jesus, get a man bun.
Also, which he has in the comics,
Yeah, yeah, he
like
does.
if I were for some crazy reason decided I wanted to have long hair still in the zombie apocalypse or really any apocalypse, it would be up in a ponytail or bun all the time because it would be dirty and gross as hell. I can go several days without washing my hair, but they haven't had running water for the vast majority of this show. And when they do, you can't tell me that they have enough running water and enough electricity to have showers all the time or even baths. Like,
Well, apparently Carl does. He takes good care of his hair.
oh yeah, his hair is like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like he's taking tips from Steve on Stranger Things. Like,
Farrah Fawcett hair spray. Farrah
yeah.
Fawcett hair.
What is Steve's last name in Stranger Things? Harrington. Steve Harrington. He's on that Steve Harrington hair what's it called? Regiment.
Yeah.
I can't talk. I can't talk today. But
Oh,
so
yeah.
go
Talking
ahead.
about hair,
Yeah.
I mentioned Jadis's hair being the favorite moment from this episode. I don't know. I don't know if it was the absurdity of the entire scene, but when Rick was taking Jadis and her people to the sanctuary, Jadis's hair was like bouncing and she had her face to the side, even though she was walking straight. And yeah, I just enjoyed that entire scene for some reason. I was like, yeah, Jadis.
I don't even remember that. I can't believe that her hair could bounce.
It bounced, and that's why I was very surprised. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, get it, Jadis.
Because to be fair, her hair looks like I would expect a woman's hair to look in the apocalypse. It's kind of grimy looking. Like not just because it's grown out at the roots, which also it's not as grown out as it should be. If it's been several years since the apocalypse started, that's like in 3 years my hair has grown from like shoulder length to here. Her hair's grown like that much. I don't believe it.
I mean, they probably have barbers. They have sculptures.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
probably have barbers, even a hairstylist or two. We
Yeah,
don't
and I
know.
guess there's plenty of hair dye because nobody else is buying it. I mean, it's eventually gonna run out, but like she could have raided like the closest Walmart right after the apocalypse started and gotten like the entire shelf of blonde hair dye. I suppose that would last several years. Um,
But that scene, I really enjoyed that scene. I watched it twice. Yeah.
yeah, I mean they just walked out on Rick when they got there. Like, was it planned or was it like, well, they escaped, we're out?
If
I,
I was Rick, I would have been like, Jadis, don't you want to sculpt me? Where are you running off to?
yeah, like continuing on my usual path, I literally had no favorite moments from last night's episode. I
I mean,
agree. You said that Carol like screaming after Ezekiel was like
yeah,
weird.
that was so, it was very weird. It was like actress who's playing Carol, she just didn't care. She was like, Ezekiel, no. And I was like, give me some emotion. Or maybe the director was like, we got the shot. We need to move forward.
Yeah, no, it was very much like Ezekiel, no. It's like that
Yeah.
total just like fake acting. Like, are we supposed to believe that there is some sort of more than friendship interest between the two of them? Because I think at some points it seemed that if they're not feeling it yet, if Carol's not feeling it yet quite the way he is, maybe she is warming up to the idea. But like, if that's the case, then she was really just kind of, but Ezekiel about his, sacrifice last night, which I I don't really believe that he's going to die quite yet.
Yeah, same
Uh,
here.
I mean, I know clearly we can't, ascribe to the comic uh, schedule of people dying. I mean, if that was the case, Carol would have been dead since like season two-ish or
Probably two,
three.
yeah. Two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
two. She would have been dead since season two, and I mean, Andrea would still be around. So it's some other people, which we'll get into in a second. Um, so yeah, which I guess like we kind of went from like favorite moments to least favorite moments without even trying over the Carol like thing. Although that wasn't even a least favorite moment. That was kind of like, uh, yeah, sure, they could have done that better moment in a sea of just nonsense. Um, the episode last night was an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
And like, I'm fine with long episodes of shows. I know a lot of people complain about it and they're like, well, why don't they just do more episodes? And I mean, they don't, let's be honest, Walking Dead does not need to do more episodes of this show. Like, there was way more padding, especially in this first half of this season than like there's ever been before. And they've padded some shit before. But, like just the fact that this was episode was an hour and a half long, literally nothing happened for the first 13 minutes. It may have been longer than that. At 13 minutes, that was the point where we were Brian and I who were watching it, we were just like, oh my God, it's nine, you know, we've been watching the show for 13 minutes and not a single freaking thing has happened.
We got
Uh,
close-ups. We got
yeah,
amazing close-ups.
like, do they think they're Sergio Leone, like filming a fucking Western?
And
Like,
even and the actors aren't even like good actors.
oh
When you're
God.
when you're giving me a close-up, I need to see emotion. And I'm just seeing like dead face or probably a little worried face. And I'm like, I don't need to see close-ups of mediocre actors, please.
That was actually one of the ideas I have for tonight's episode. And unfortunately, it's not going to work with just you and I. But if it was like the three of us, or if we had had a couple guests, I would have really loved to have just played the show music in the background and had all of us just stare at the computer, maybe like slowly moving our
Yeah.
faces closer to our
But looking a
webcams.
little weird, but looking a little worried. You know, we're
Just a little
sad.
worried, just a little worried, but maybe not
Is
quite
he
worried. Maybe
killed?
more
No.
like you're about to break into chicken dance. I don't know. Like, seriously, I just know I don't know what they were doing. Like, I'm really seriously concerned for these showrunners. Do they think that they are like Sergio Leone? Do they think they are filming a Western in his style? Uh, cause
Probably. Probably they might think that.
I just I and it wasn't, the thing is, it wasn't just once, man. It was like for several minutes at the beginning of the episode and then again at the end. And was it maybe in between? Was it there maybe some in the middle as well?
I think so. Yeah, when they were like driving the cars, like Carol, Jerry, and who was in the third car? Rick. All three of them were driving in different ways.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I just probably, who knows, but these close-ups of faces need to stop.
Yeah. I, I mean, and
And
again, it wasn't even the fact that they existed all like in and of itself. It was how long they focused on them several times in an hour and a half long episode.
I
They
mean, if they cut those scenes out, they probably didn't have to make this episode this long.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, it could have been a normal-sized episode if they had taken out those close-ups.
Those and like several other things that were like the weird like scene between Rosita and Tara that was, I guess, supposed to be like the amusing moment of the episode, and it was just kind of like, why? Like, I would have cared about this at like some other random time when we weren't literally in the middle of this all-out war thing.
Yeah.
And all that time they spent on shit like that, and they didn't give any fucking explanation for how the saviors escaped from the sanctuary,
Ah.
or how there are enough of them left to spread out and attack all three of the other settlements. Like, did I miss
They don't.
something? Please tell me if I missed something, because like I am at a loss. Like every 10 minutes in that episode last night, I was like, so are they gonna like do a flashback? And you mentioned flashbacks earlier, and this is what I was talking about. Like, they did all these they did like flashbacks between like Rick and Carl, and like they're really into the flashback thing this season, which is fine if they do it right, but they don't. And on top of that, we get an hour and a half long mid-season finale where like all of a sudden the bad guys come out of the woodwork to fight back, and we have no fucking idea how they came out of the woodwork.
I
Like,
have a feeling that the showrunners don't even know. They can't really explain it well.
what was it Dwight who was just like, Eugene? That was the only, that's it. That's all.
Eugene,
Eugene.
what? What did Eugene do?
He's,
When you know the scene where Eugene was shown he was having trouble sleeping, I
mhm.
thought that was the moment we were going to get the flashback.
Yeah.
But
Instead, we got
yeah,
him finally having like some semblance of a conscience.
for no apparent reason.
He couldn't sleep.
Yeah. Sleep is important.
Because he like Gabriel. I don't. I can't even get into the Eugene nonsense because like it doesn't make sense for them to put him on this road where he is so set in his ways of being a total fucking asshole. And then like all of a sudden he's like, well, okay, I'm going to go out of my way to help Gabriel and the doctor escape after I've let all the saviors, like apparently at this point he has already helped the saviors get out of the sanctuary. So like, okay, maybe he feels bad about that, but it's like, dude, too little, too late. Like you're letting a dying man and the doctor escape when you know that Negan and everybody else is out there hunting down the people from the
Alexandria is
kingdom. And
burned. Like
yeah.
Alexandria is gone now because of Eugene.
Also, can we talk about how hilarious it was that buildings were just blowing up? Like there was no sign of them like actually lobbing grenades or anything. Buildings were just exploding. They were just exploding. It was like,
They had a mutant in there,
seriously.
an X-Men there. Pyro, he was like blow that building, blow that building up, blow that building up.
Could you imagine how good the X-Men would fare in the zombie apocalypse? Like there would be no story. It would last like a month and then everything would be taken care of.
Yeah,
But
probably.
one of my friends said in I can't remember exactly what she was referring to. It might have been Carl and his situation. She said that like this show is, or maybe it was actually maybe it was about Daryl and Tara driving the fucking garbage truck into the sanctuary because apparently that's what like allowed them to escape or whatever. Um, but she said that the show is basically a story of people making bad decisions and then like fucking everybody over because of them, which is very much true. But
Yeah, basically. Everyone made bad decisions. And Rosita is like, she like forgave Daryl. She was like, I've made mistakes too, Daryl. So no big deal.
that's more than just a little mistake. It doesn't matter. Like, we don't even know if, I mean, granted, yes, I'm sure it's obvious that his, garbage truck crash had something to do with them being able to get out, but like, they probably wouldn't have been able to get out without like Eugene's help because they were all it could have been the easiest possible escape route ever, and they were also wrapped up in like their infighting that I don't think they would have been able to figure it out without like massive casualties if it weren't for whatever Eugene supposedly did. Um, but like, I don't know, man.
And can
Uh,
we talk about Aaron taking Enid with him to the ocean side for no reason? He was like, he literally told Enid that these people kill on sight. So you bring along a little girl with you for no
I mean,
reason.
I guess in that case, like you can help or hope that that he or that they will see that Enid is with him and not shoot on sight because she is a young girl and they're all women. Um, but yeah, I mean, they're fucked anyway because she killed the grandmother. Like, no matter how much no matter the fact that the grandmother was kind of the reason they were so, or was one of the reasons they were so like kind of just oh my god, there's a word for it that I'm not thinking of right now. Like the fact that they were hiding away and killing everybody on sight was definitely the grandmother's idea, you know, more than the granddaughters or like a lot of the other people. I mean, they, you know, the granddaughter helped Tara escape and everything. It was the granddaughter, right? I'm not wrong about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was the granddaughter.
Sorry, it's been so long since these Oceanside people
Oceanside
like
people.
played any part in this story that it's just like what they're like they're not as bad as the Garbage Pail Kids, but they're not great either.
I think they're probably going to come and try to help Maggie at the hilltop.
I hope
Possibly.
so, but like, why would they now that Enid killed the grandmother? Like, oops.
Yeah, let's see what happens. And then the fight between Rick and Negan.
Oh gosh, yeah. Watching two middle-aged men
Yeah.
punch each other in the dark is like that's sure, that's my dream. That's all I've ever wanted out of life.
It wasn't even a good fight.
No, it was horrible. Like it was so badly staged.
Yeah. And even when Rick got hold of Negan's bat, he didn't use it.
Yeah.
And then Rick got hold of a gun and he ran away. Like, shoot Negan. He should have shot Negan right there. But like Rick decided to run away.
Yeah. I mean, I guess no, was his gun, did his gun not have any bullets left in it? That's literally like the only reason I can think of for him to not kill him right then and there. I mean, I guess he didn't want to give away his position, but if Negan is dead, there's really no reason. Yeah, I can't think of any good reason for Nope. No.
Yeah, and then he met up with Michonne, and literally Negan came with an entire army to Alexandria to take it down, but Rick and Michonne didn't necessarily meet those people.
No,
like
I mean,
walking around Alexandria.
Carl didn't either.
Like, where were those people?
Well, to be fair, some of them were with Dwight, who, you know, apparently has finally just given up the idea of like you know, being like a double agent, which is good, I suppose. The fact that he was just chilling, the fact that he was just chilling in the sewers with them and everybody's okay with it is kind of like, dude, he helped you, but he also did a lot of harm too. Like, wasn't he the one who shot Tara's girlfriend Denise?
All's forgiven, apparently.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's true. I don't think Daryl is really happy with Dwight either. Like, he knows that Dwight helped him escape, but that.
I mean, Dwight was like, we can settle things after Negan is dead. So maybe like Daryl and Tara are waiting.
I guess, yeah.
Probably, who knows?
Sure, whatever. All right, so I guess the manner of Carl's death was the other thing that was just like, okay, so I might have missed something because I literally, Becca had to tell me. I talked to her on Facebook after the episode last night, and she had to explain to me that Carl, I was like, when the hell did he even get bit? And she said that it was when he was helping Siddiq, but was that in the last episode or was it tonight?
It was in episode 6.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Okay, so he did, but we didn't know that back then, right?
It wasn't even implied.
Yeah. It was on his stomach or like up on his, like, what? I thought the zombies that were, walkers that were attacking him were like attacking like in his kind of upper chest and face area, not his stomach. Like,
they probably wanted him dead or something.
I mean, the
Gimple probably like saw Andrea's death I really agree with you. And he was like, I need to give that to someone.
Yeah, well, I know that Carl was he was signed on for like he was signed on for a bunch of episodes, or no, he was signed on for just a couple episodes. Then they were like, or I don't know. He was signed on for more episodes, and then they turned around and said, "Wait, no, we don't need him. We're writing him off the show."
Yeah, Chandler's dad is not happy about it. He
Yeah,
wrote a whole Facebook post about it.
right. So, which is kind of like neither here nor there because I feel like it's probably better for Chandler Riggs to get out of this show before it like gets any worse than it already is. Like I like honestly he grew up on this show and I know a lot of people hate on Carl, but he really doesn't bother me. You know, he was annoying when he was a little kid, but that's because little kids annoy me. Like I really haven't minded Carl for a while.
Yeah,
You know,
same.
but and I don't think Chandler Riggs is a bad actor, you know, like he's a cute kid, like he's gonna grow up and hopefully do something with himself outside of this show.
And you know what the funny thing was? Like in the first episode, we heard Michonne tell Carl that it's his show, and then in this episode, we like Carl told Michonne that it's his show, and then they just kill him off.
Yeah, I
His
don't know.
death is going to be so weird. It's going to be
Yeah.
complete filler.
Well, and that's the thing, like so far it's so like anticlimactic. So like is he just gonna kind of die off screen or are we going to get the full on Andrea comic book death? Which
We are going to get the Andrea comic book
ugh,
dead because we signed up for one more episode,
puke.
and everyone is already present in the sewer. So they're probably going to
Ugh.
like walk towards him and say stuff. It's going to be horrible. We are getting that scene because, like I
So
said, those showrunners probably read the comic book and they were like, we need to give Andrea's death to someone that's important to Rick. We can't kill off Michonne yet. We can get rid of Chandler.
which is like
That, which again doesn't make sense because Carl has so much to do in the comic books, and I'm like, who are they going to give those scenes to now?
I don't know. And I just so
And they needed a kid on the show, right? Like, it
yeah.
was good to see a kid who was capable in the team, and now there's no capable kid around.
Yeah, I so and I feel like we should clarify for those of you who don't read the Walking Dead comics, Andrea lives for a very long time. Like literally died in an issue like a few months ago.
Yeah.
And
He hooks up with Rick.
right. She is in kind of Michonne's
Yeah.
spot where she's with Rick. They're basically married. Like I don't think there's no ceremony or anything, but I think they talk about how they're basically married. And Carl is her son, and she dies actually helping Eugene. Uh, uh, you can't really say it's Eugene's fault per se. It's actually Andrea's fault for just trying to be the hero. But so she gets bitten, and so I guess she gets bitten helping Eugene. She does not die helping him. So she gets back to Alexandria, and they have this like issue, almost an entire issue of like every character that is still alive that knows her, come, including people who don't fucking matter, coming to say goodbye to her. So there's like just panels of all these people saying goodbye to her, and then like Rick is with her and he falls asleep with her, and like or she he's laying with her at night and he's almost falling asleep, and then she dies and she turns, and he because he couldn't like he knew she was dead and he couldn't stab her in the head or shoot her in the head while she was still dead, and then
Dead.
she turns, and then he has trouble killing her even though she's turned, and it's like this just horribly like I told myself I would stop reading the comics when they killed Andrea, but honestly, like if this had been another really awesome character who died and they gave me that nonsense issue of like the final goodbyes from every fucking living character, and then like the whole like I can't shit it, blah, 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 from Rick or whoever is their closest loved one, like I would stop reading the comics just because that was goddamn dumb.
I agree.
So yeah, no, that is like my biggest worry, is that we're going to come back in the mid-season premiere and have to watch everybody say goodbye to
Yeah,
Carl, and then he's
that's
going
going
to
to happen.
die, and Rick's not going to be able to do anything about it, and Rick is going to be sobby, ugly, cry face Rick about it, and I don't want any of this. Like, what the fuck happened to a Ricktatorship, man? What happened to characters who are actually kind of badass and not like whiny little babies or speech giving sycophants? Because this is what we have now. God, I hate this show so much. like, like somebody asked me why I still watch it, and it's like the only answer I can give is I watch it so that I can complain about it.
Same.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just puke. Like the fact that this is the death that Carl is getting when he is one of so few characters left from the first season. I mean, literally up until the mid-season finale, it was Carl, Rick, Carol, Daryl, and technically Morgan, but I don't really count him because he wasn't in the show for the better part of like 5 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in like 1 episode of season 1, right? Maybe 2 episodes, but it was like the second half and then the first half or something. Then he was in 1 episode of season 3, and then he appeared and we didn't even know it was him. I think it was the very end of season 4, or maybe the mid-season finale, season 4. But it was like he appeared and we didn't even know it was him for like a couple times in season 4, and then finally he's back in the show in season 5. Like that doesn't really count as somebody who's been with us since the beginning.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to die now that he's moving on to Fear the Walking Dead?
I don't know. They haven't used him very much this season. I mean, they kind of did to him what they did to Carl, where they just kind of like didn't have him around.
Yeah.
Like he was important for a couple like episodes, but for the most part, granted, I guess some of that could be that they just have too many characters right now. But I don't know. They've had more more sort of main and secondary characters than this at several points in time. And this first half of the season is the first time I've really thought like this show could do without like 6 of these people. And I wouldn't care. I mean, even Enid, shoot, like, why is she still around? That she was barely in this season, and like all of a sudden she becomes important at last night. I suppose they could give her some of Carl's storylines. I mean, shit. There are the Whispers, so comic book spoilers, like Carl falls for this girl who's part of like this group of bad guys that's like
I guess her name's Lucy.
Yeah, post Negan, like post all out war stuff, post Negan, whatever. It's lots and lots of issues later, and I mean honestly, like I would be chill with them having like Enid fall for some girl. Like we know she likes Carl a bit, but that doesn't mean anything. He's dead now. So yeah, like they could do something like that, but I guess I don't really. I don't know. I don't care about any of these. I really don't care about any of these characters. Like I still like Michonne, but we barely saw her this first half of the season.
Maybe she was busy doing Black Panther.
That is
maybe.
true, and fucking good for Denai Guerrera because, like Chandler Riggs, I do believe that some of these actors deserve to have something better in their lives than Walking Dead. Denise, shoot, the actress who played Denise is in that Netflix show, Godless.
Godless, yeah, and she's
Yeah,
awesome in it.
like I haven't watched all of it, but
I
like,
really like her character. I really like her
yeah,
character.
I haven't
She can
watched
act.
all of it, but I saw her and I was like, holy shit, that's amazing! Like, good for
She's
her.
an she's an Emmy-nominated actress. I was like looking her up in on Wikipedia,
Mm,
and I was like, The Walking Dead didn't do anything with her talent.
yeah, no, no. Ugh. So, theories.
Yeah, I read a fan theory that the flashback or the like flash forward that Rick had, that the people that we saw in the flash forward are probably going to die.
I don't even remember who was in that flash forward.
There was Vishon. There was Rick's daughter, who people are saying is Gracie and not his actual daughter.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then there was a boy with long hair who kind of looked like Carl, like
Uh-huh.
walking away from the camera.
Yeah.
Because I was binge watching the season, and when I rewatched the first episode, those flash forward scenes also has some weird little scenes in which Rick is crying and he's like saying "Have mercy."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
So yeah,
remember that. Yeah. And I was like,
and that scene hasn't come up yet. That
so
mercy scene.
was it like, it was like a dream sequence, right?
Yeah, it was like the mercy scene is going to happen. We are going to see Rick cry, and maybe at that point he's like thinking about what the future could have been,
Huh.
like when he did with Glenn's death.
Yeah. And I guess my question is, will they kill that many people? Like, will they really kill that many characters? Like, I get that, like that the little girl could be Gracie, not Judith. I think it would be pretty fucking ballsy and kind of terrible of this show to kill both of Rick's kids in the same season. Uh, Regardless of whether or not you think Judith is actually Rick's kid, that's beside the point. Like,
But yeah, that's the fan theory that I read, that it was a flash forward, and those people are the people that Rick saw dying in front of him.
ugh. Well, I'm just gonna like hang on and hope that Michonne doesn't die. I guess I could like continue watching the show so that I could like be on this webcast with you guys, even if Michonne dies. But if I did that, it would be me watching the show in a way that would not affect their ratings in the slightest. And I would never say a positive thing about Walking Dead ever again. Not that I've been very good at saying positive things about it so far this season, but like I tried. I like that Rick made me giggle. You know, that's a thing. Um, say I hadn't heard that theory. I mean, I hope it's not true just because I don't want Michonne to die, but who
Because in
knows?
that flash forward, Rick looked, older, but
Mm,
Michonne didn't look older. She looked the same age she is right now.
yeah, yeah. Ugh, ugh.
Maybe the actress who plays Michonne, Denai, she's like, I've got Black Panther 2, I've got more Marvel movies, I'm leaving this show.
God, I hope so. I mean, that I would be kind of like, listen, I would not at all, if it is deny leaving the show because she has better things going for her, then I will be totally fine with her death. But if it is, but it's still gonna depend on how they kill her, because there are a lot of ways they could do it really badly and have it be a fridging thing. I mean, they're fridging Carl right now. If you can even, I mean, if you can even use that term for like a guy, especially since he's his son and not it's not, a relationship thing, but like they're like
for the man pin.
Yeah.
He's like dying for Rick's man pin right now.
Yeah. I mean, God, even Denise died for Daryl's man pain. It's like they brush the whole Tara thing off. They bring it up once this season, like all of a sudden pat on the back that it's okay that they focus on the fact that it upset Daryl so much for so long. Anyway.
Which I think is going to happen again, that after Carl's death, Daryl is going to be in Manpin too, and that probably is going to lead to the civil war that Becca was talking about. That Rick might be like, Daryl, if you hadn't gone to the sanctuary, things would have been different.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That
I
might
guess that could
happen.
work.
Mm.
God. Phil's just like, okay, so one thing that I really wish Becca was here. Did you watch The Talking Dead? Because I didn't.
I don't. I can't take more of The Walking
No,
Dead.
yeah, neither can we.
Yeah, I don't know
In
how
my
Becca does
household.
it.
I think it's because her family, they all sit and watch it together, which I get. Like if I lived with people or a person who really wanted to watch The Talking Dead, I would still watch it just in general. Like I'm a people pleaser. But so apparently, according to Becca, this news goes completely in her kudos to Becca bucket. There's going to be a Chris Hardwick pop figure.
Why?
I don't know. Her comment in here is really, this is the dumbest thing. Why though? My response is, oh my fucking God, these are the things I miss when I don't watch Talking Dead. Like, listen, there are some really dumb pop figures out there. Like, but in my opinion, they're always made as like a joke thing. Like it's not meant to be taken seriously. Like, oh, I'm a famous person and Funko made a pop figure of me. It's sort of like the Conan ones. The Conan ones that you can get at his special San Diego Comic-Con show, where like one year he was a stormtrooper, maybe. Yeah, one year he was a stormtrooper or some Star Wars thing, and another year he was the Night King from or a White Walker from Game of Thrones. And it's like, those are cool, A, because he's Conan, and B, because it's kind of this, they're not selling this. It's a thing that you get at his show. So
it's like a novelty thing.
Yeah, so I suppose if the Chris Hardwick pop figure is something that they only made for people who saw last night's episode of The Walking Dead, then like, and it was kind of like, oh, you're sitting in the audience, you're getting a Chris Hardwick pop figure. Like if I was in that audience, I'd be like, ha ha ha! No, what the fuck? Like all these episodes of Talking Dead before me, these people have gotten cool ass shit, and I get a fucking Chris Hardwick pop figure. But I suppose that if that's the only place that they are offering them, I would be like, okay, it's stupid, but whatever. But I don't know as if that's the case. So I don't know. I guess oh no, yeah, here we go. There was a limited edition I had to Google it. Limited edition Chris Hardwick pop. They made 1,000 of them.
They probably gave it to the audience, like you said. Probably.
I mean, and honestly, the website that I'm looking at right now is one of Chris Hardwick's websites. It's www.id10t.com. So idiot for whatever reason. It literally says, and this is Chris Hardwick saying this, I mercilessly pestered the good folks at Funko until they agreed to make a limited run of 1,000 of these. So I guess I'm whatever. I'm sorry that Funko felt they had to give in to that.
I wonder what he said to them. How he forced them to do it.
He didn't force them, let's be real. But yeah, he pestered them. I honestly believe that of Chris Hardwick because he annoys the shit out of me. He's just so pretentious and have you ever watched BoJack Horseman?
No, I read your recommendation though.
Oh, it is so good. And season, I think 3 is the most recent one. Like it came out a couple months ago. Is honestly, it's this show is some of the best. Like it's one of the best shows I've ever watched. If I were to like rank it as a Netflix show, I'd probably put it at like 2 or 3. Like Stranger Things would be number 1, and I'm pretty sure I probably would have put Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt above BoJack like a year ago, but BoJack season 3 was so much better than Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt season 3 that I think they've switched places now. It's just really good. But there is like a talk show thing in BoJack Horseman where there's a guy who is literally just called, "Hi, I'm a Ryan Seacrest type." And that is what Chris Hardwick is. He is the I'm a Ryan Seacrest type guy from BoJack Horseman. Uh, so anyway, since we're like after 9 o'clock now, the only other thing that I wanted to give is that we were having a discussion last night when watching the episode, and it was suggested that my event planning company, Saga Event Planning's next convention be a Walking Dead convention centered only on the last like 4 seasons of the show. And activities would include gathering in a badly lit room with ominous music playing and staring at each other for inordinate amounts of time. A discussion panel in which we do nothing but give lame excuses for basically everything that has happened on the show in recent seasons, and a secret grass mowing activity where everybody's given a lawnmower and you just run around mowing people's lawns for fun. So I was like, half of that was a conversation from last night, and half of that was a conversation I had with my business partner and fellow Geekiary writer, KK, this today. I told her about the discussion we had last night. She, not surprisingly, because she's very good at coming up with random convention activities, came up with the secret lawn mowing activity. So very proud of her for that. Look for it on Saga Event Planning's event schedule. Never. So. So anyway, do you have recs that people can like recommendations for something people can do other than watch this fucking show?
Just take a nap, people. Just go to sleep for an hour.
Well, we'll definitely have a hiatus episode. Probably a couple weeks before the show comes back, just because I know we'll want to do an episode for the mid-season premiere. And surely Becca will be back with us for the hiatus episode. Also, I like how this has been renamed Rex for the Apocalypse. And this is just in general, not just for the hiatus, but like in general, Rex for the Apocalypse. Y'all, Star Wars The Last Jedi is coming out this week, and if you aren't seeing it, then I don't know what you're doing with your life.
The critics comment came in. You didn't read it, the tweets. It's highly positive, the reaction to the film.
Yeah. I've been trying to stay away from like too much spoilery stuff. I got mad because I was like setting up the event for this webcast on YouTube yesterday, and they showed like a 10-second clip from the movie that I hadn't seen. Like maybe it has been in a trailer, but I haven't really watched any trailers. I was really mad about that. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I guess the only thing I've been really watching lately is Superstore. It's by the creator of The Office, and it's on NBC, and it's in, I think it's 3rd season right now. And it's amusing. And it's actually got a really diverse cast, which is nice. America Ferrera is one of the leads. And like the boss is this like Christian guy, because it's basically like they work in a Walmart/Target type store, but it's called Cloud9. And the boss is this like really like, he's a Christian, like super Christian, loves Jesus and everything, but he also is like constantly working to better himself and be more inclusive. It doesn't always work, but he's basically like Michael Scott without a lot of the really problematic Michael Scott traits. It's like I don't know, it's a really fun, like cute little show to watch. So I suggest that during the hiatus, because literally, like, it's so much better than The Walking Dead, but at this point, it's not that hard to be better than The Walking Dead.
A lot of things are better than The Walking Dead at this point.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, do you want to do the outro?
Yeah, now you do it.
No, I do.
You
Okay.
do it. You do it.
So I am Becca. No, I'm kidding. uh, Becca, we miss you. We love you. Feel better, please. I really hate that we had to do this without her, but we weren't sure when Becca was going to be better. And it's my birthday on Wednesday, so I'm busy the rest of this week. So I am Tara, and I'm here with Fareed, and we're missing Becca, but she will hopefully be back very soon. And thank you for joining us while we bitch about stuff and things with the Bitching Dead. Please follow the Bitching Dead and the Geekiary on Twitter. And remember, we are a free webcast on off donations from viewers like you. Thank you for contributing via Patreon or however you contribute to the Geekiary, because there are a lot of ways people do, actually. And thank you for helping our host site, the Geekiary. And we will see you guys soonish. It'll be toward the end of January, but we'll see you guys soon. Have a good night.